You're joining me on my morning commute for this one. Do we call this episode 2? I don't really know. I feel like the term episode is not a very good way to explain what we're doing here. Man, I've got so much to say, actually, this morning. And of course I do, because I'm also running behind. You guys ever notice that? Like, it's the mornings that you have the most on your mind that you also happen to, I don't know, wake up late or, leave the house and forget something that you remember every day. I don't know. Let's get into it. We talked a little bit last time about... Sorry, I'm a little bit congested. Last episode, whatever it is, last video, we spoke about taking the leap, getting ready to take the leap. And the feelings that come with that and the potential emotions or thought processes that can accompany one who is about to take the leap, one who is about to endeavor upon the 101, the initiate's journey, the one who is potentially about to escape Plato's cave, right? And so what are the chances that right before I went to bed last night, I was scrolling through YouTube, as I do, as most of you probably do, before bed. And it was a certain, I want to be vague about this for now. There's a content creator that I've been following for a short period of time. Found him recently. Is a guy. And it wasn't a video, but he had posted one of those community posts where it was just, the text posts that you can send to your subscribers or whatever. And the main topic of his little blurb was about taking the leap. What are the chances? So shout out Galahad, because we're out here constellating, are we not? And if you don't know what that means, you should do your research, because it's important. Probably the most important thing ever. But, whatever. What do I know? So, and it's funny that I find myself talking about this today, because this is something that I have actually been trying to get through to some important people in my life, people who are close to me. I've been trying to explain this very same concept to them. Because it means a lot to me. It's changed my life. And I want to be able to spread that as much as possible. I feel like it's one of a few missions I've been given. This channel and what we're doing here is another one of those missions that I feel that I have been given. And anyone who knows me personally will tell you that whenever I get my teeth latched into something, so to speak, I can get, tenacious, sure. I don't know if that's really a great word for it, though. The phrase that comes to mind is too serious. I get, you could argue I get too serious about the things that, my endeavors that mean a lot to me. I get too serious about it, right? Like tunnel vision, obsessive, whatever. I'm sure there's a million terms I could use to describe it. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I've heard both ways. I've heard that you shouldn't be too serious or take yourself too seriously. And, I've heard a variety of reasons as to why people believe that. You miss out on the moment. It may create a sense of arrogance or entitlement, etc., etc. I've heard it all as far as that goes. And then I've heard that, kind of the opposite, right? Like, not taking things seriously enough is actually kind of like a satanic or demonic state of mind. But regardless of whether it is a good or a bad thing or a neutral thing, I do take my endeavors extremely seriously. Maybe you do as well. I always have. I can remember instances in the first or second grade where I can specifically remember taking things way too seriously. Obsessing over being perfect. I have memories of obsessing over being perfect in the first grade. I don't know. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you can't. I have gone through waves and different phases in my life, and I've thought of it as a blessing. I've thought of it as a curse. But regardless of what it is, it's probably neither of those things and more just like a test or something. But regardless of those things, as I get older, I come to the realization that seriousness is part of the fuel that guides my innermost workings. It's like a very core piece of who I am. Everything happens for a reason, right? So I would be a fool to know that everything happens for a reason and then ignore that little prick in my brain, that little thorn in my side that keeps nudging me for whatever reason. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You either do or you don't. If you're listening to a video like this, you probably do. On some level. And another concept I've been trying to pass along to those closest to me is when you have that mental throb, that mental thing that keeps bugging you and you just can't shake it. Like, that's God trying to talk to you. That you're not crazy. You're not insane. It's not something you should ignore or push or sweep under the rug. That is literally God trying to talk to you. And that goes hand in hand with constellating, understanding that. You know, there's a verse that says, pray without ceasing. The conversation is not supposed to stop. It's not. I referenced this in the previous video. Another concept I've been trying to share with the people closest to me. This is so important. This is going to change your life. I mean, whatever. Believe me, don't believe me. Loss and gain are one and the same. It's up to you, really. But God is not willing that any man should perish. Remember that. He's patiently waiting for you to pick up the phone. And I think you would be... Well, I don't think. I know for a fact you would be or will be very surprised how quickly he reveals himself when you fully, truly, 100% submit and acknowledge. Start the conversation and you will be surprised. And suddenly you'll feel like you're living in dream world. And suddenly everything make sense. Everything will make sense. So, you know, again, you either know exactly what I'm talking about and have experienced that feeling, or you do not. But I would encourage you to seek it out if it has been something that's on your mind. Because that's not a thought that originated from you. That's silly. I mean, we didn't love him. He first loved us. Right? No one can come to the Father unless he draws them. Right? And at the same time, he's not willing that any man should perish. So you do the math. You put 2 and 2 together and figure out what that means. But I feel like it's fairly straightforward. You know, Satan is called the author of confusion. Anything confusing, like, well, I won't go so far as to say that, but Satan is the author of confusion. But when you submit to the one and only true God, he will remove all the confusion and fog from your life. And suddenly you will be thinking clearer than you've ever thought before. And you will be amazed, to say the least. So. Sorry, I had to switch lanes. Actually, literally, like that. I'm not being facetious. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up on this one. Answer the phone. Answer the phone.